Welcome to Traction Thursday. I have been gone for a month, so it's good to be back in Fairfield and to see so many faces that are familiar and some new faces as well. My name is Alex Taylor. I'm the Director of Entrepreneurship for Nubo Co. Nubo Co. is a nonprofit organization based out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, dedicated to economic development, and we do that through tech education and workforce development and retention, and entrepreneurship. And Traction Thursday is part of that entrepreneurship mission. The goal of Traction Thursday is to hear entrepreneurial stories and network with other people interested in growing your own businesses here in Iowa and in Fairfield. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is my pleasure to introduce Jenny Sammons, who has upgraded from Washington, D.C. and been here, 6 years, you said?
I've been here for almost 12
years. Well, let's give her a warm Fairfield welcome.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you here. Thank you for coming. I haven't been to one of these, so I prepared a PowerPoint that I thought would fit. So hopefully it's. So I'm an artist who went to MIU and studied art. And since about I was a jewelry designer before, and since about 2021, I've been pursuing my art professionally. So I had a career in jewelry design. Right now, I have a current show. It's called Visions of Lineage, where I'm exploring kind of the intersection of ancestry and identity and color, and just kind of working through my emotions. My artwork, it's a very emotional process for me. So here's a few of my pieces. I started making art when I was in Germany during 2020, during the pandemic. And I decided that jewelry design felt frivolous and not what I wanted to do at the time, and I really just wanted to do some art therapy for myself. So I started making paintings and then posting every day on Instagram. I did a 100-day Instagram challenge. And from that, a gallery in Oskaloosa reached out to me and said, "Are you coming back to the US? We'd love to have a show for you." So I said, it's a good enough reason to leave Germany and come back and start my career in art. And since then, it's been really busy, honestly, and I'm still figuring out what I'm doing. A lot of my pieces I have prints and I have greeting cards, and they've all been selling pretty well at festivals, and if I'll do markets and things like that. So I do have a website, and I have an Etsy shop that I just started. Neither one of those is really getting any customers. It's more my in-person sales. I've also shown, since 2021, I've shown at about 15 different gallery shows, so either group shows or solo exhibitions. I have a long-standing commission project that I'm working on. So a client has hired me to come into his house and kind of do whatever I want, which is a dream come true. So I do that. That makes up about half of my income, and then the other half is selling my art, mostly through galleries. I do have a studio here in the CoLab, so it's right here, where I have pretty good windows, and I really love it here, actually. And so after the talk, if you're interested, you can come around and see my studio. And I put out a bunch of my art so people can also view it. So all those things that are working are gallery shows, print and card sales, commissions. If I share on my socials consistently, then I'll get people messaging me, asking me to do things. It's just between all the things that I have going on, it's hard for me to get the energy to share consistently. I've started using ChatGPT to help me create a social media calendar, but I have been having trouble keeping up with it. And I feel like if I had someone else to kind of help, then I could really focus on my my artwork, which is what I really want to do. I don't want to, I mean, you have to, like, as an entrepreneur, you kind of have to be somewhat business minded and know how to do those things. It's just a little soul crushing in a way. So yeah, I applied to several festivals in Iowa this year, and I got rejected from all of them, unfortunately. I think it might have been my booth display. It wasn't as built out as I think it should have been. I don't know why I got those rejections, but it was kind of a blow. I've also applied to artist residencies, which are very competitive. A residency would be great because I could just focus on my work for a while and really dive deep into my process, which I don't feel like I can really do here while I'm trying to manage my business and trying to, do all the other things in my life. Consistency has been kind of challenging for me. So like my busy times are the summer and usually during the holidays. And then outside of that, it's kind of a dry period for selling prints and cards, which when I do go to festivals, that is the thing that sells the most, my prints and my cards, because they're a low price point and people just, buy them. I'm also working on passive income through my Etsy shop. I've started a line of digital greeting cards. So people can purchase for $2, download the greeting card. They'll have it forever. They can print it whenever they want. But I haven't had any sales on my Etsy shop yet. So I'm like, is this gonna work? But I kind of have faith that if I just keep plugging away at it, eventually people will see my work and then they'll start seeing my digitals and want to download those. At some point, I would like to develop a course that I can put online to sell. So I'm kind of been brainstorming and I have a lot of notes about that. So my Etsy and my Shopify. My Etsy has no customers. My Shopify has a few. I do have some print-on-demand products from my artwork that I've photographed, so people can buy pillows. I've got some shower curtains, I think, phone cases, things like that. It's through Fine Art America. I haven't been promoting that at all. The main reason I think is because I haven't ordered everything to see what they look like. So I don't want to promote it until I actually have the products in my hand, but I have all the listings made. I have all that stuff done. But I might choose to go through a different supplier if I don't like those products. I kind of jumped the gun with that one, but it's fine. So my upcoming exhibitions, I have a show coming up next weekend in Chicago. It's a pop-up at a small gallery in the Bronzeville neighborhood. So that'll be a 3-day thing. I'll be doing live painting. And then in August, I'll be doing a show called Layers of Becoming, which is gonna kind of be like a retrospective of everything I've done up until this point from 2021. So I'm actually asking people who have bought my originals in the past to loan them to me so that I can show them, because it's a really large gallery, and so I want to have enough work to draw people and to make it look full. So now I guess I'm opening it up to you if anyone has any questions for me, or if there's any opportunities you see for me, or yeah.
So what was perhaps the hardest part about striking out on your own?
Well, I think I've been making art, two-dimensional art, for a long time, but I never felt like it was good enough to really show in a gallery. So making art consistently every day helped me build my confidence in my skill. And also having galleries reach out to me. Most of the gallery shows that I've done, the galleries have reached out to me, which I'm very grateful for.
How do they find you?
Through my Instagram. So I have Instagram, I have Facebook, I have TikTok. But most of them reach out to me through Instagram. Yeah.
Are there other questions? Bob?
Jenny, have you considered working with people like Phyllis Kerr, folks like that who have very, very deep levels of knowledge of not only social media, but how to sell on social media? It's a whole discipline. It strikes me that in terms of creating passive income, going really, really deep with someone who has deep knowledge, whether Phyllis is the person or someone else, that strikes me as something that that would be an interesting next step to really look at.
Yeah, I'm definitely open to that. It hasn't been a priority for me to like really promote things because I'm kind of treading water, keeping up with gallery shows and keeping up with my commissions, which is great, which I love. So I just haven't really had the time to really focus on that passive income, but I would like to for sure. Yeah.
What's your long-term vision for your art business? Would you like to have your own gallery or studio here in Fairfield, or franchise out, or see your art all over the world? What's your vision?
Yeah, I think I would like to be someone I love to travel, so I'd love to be able to travel a lot. And if I had like constant income flowing in through licensing or my own website that's passive, that would kind of be ideal. And then the other side of that is I would focus on work, like higher end work to show in galleries.
If I was an artist starting out, a recent graduate from MIU or any other art school, what would be the number one piece of advice you would impart?
Oh man. Well, I think for me, just like consistency and developing the habit of working every day, and experimenting with different mediums and styles. If you're not feeling like really passionately drawn to your studio, then it means that you're probably not doing the thing that really is gonna ignite yourself. Like my work is just like fills me with so much joy, and I have so much passion that it's like completely effortless for me to do it. And if you do have those blocks, I feel like you would have like emotional blocks to that. So the key would be to just work on your emotions and really try to work past the blocks that are keeping you from really expressing your passions, whether it's like childhood stuff or whatever, you know.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi.
I loved your work since the first time I saw it, and I really got the beauty of the joy and emotion that comes through. When I see your latest stuff, I would say that evokes in me something incredible when I gaze into the eyes of each of the characters that you're depicting. And as a former middle school teacher, right, taking kids to an art gallery, there's a conversation that goes on between the artist, the art, and the student. And so having that narrative is, I think, part of art. And I could see that narrative could be developed kind of in this, from the theme of ancestry, lineage. And I'm wondering two things. What does these evoke in you? What's the story that is behind the paintings? And the second, what questions would you ask of your audience that would evoke a response when they're deeply gazing into the eyes of your paintings?
That's a great question. And, to be honest, like maybe this is selfish, but I never really think about how my work is going to be perceived once I've finished it. It's the process for me and kind of working through whatever I'm working through at that time. So with my series Visions of Lineage, it's about my ancestry and how I have 15 different areas of the world where I have DNA. And so I've kind of worked that into my work by making kind of a fragmented image to represent that and the feelings of fragmentation that I have personally as an African American who didn't really have access to my lineage and the records of my lineage. So for me personally, it's just been working through these feelings I have about feeling kind of untethered wherever I am, because as a African American, it's like I don't really feel like a citizen, even though I am a citizen. So, and then also I have all these European ancestors that I had no idea who they were. So it's kind of like doing a little bit of like spiritual channeling and mediumship to feel what these ancestors might feel, and to tap into the ones that care about me and love me and want to help me express and move through these emotions through my work. So I guess I would say that I would want anyone who looks at my work to perhaps feel their own kind of emotional experience, whatever that may be that they're working through at the time. And I mean, I really just make it because I'm compelled to, and I have to. Like, there's no, choice for me to do this. And so perhaps that is inspiring.
Okay, here's another one.
Hi, Jenny. I love
Hi,
your
Guy.
work, and
Thank
it's
you.
great to see how your work is growing. Regards to festivals, would it be possible to reach out to somebody and say, what do I need to do differently to get in? Or other people that you know that are successfully getting into festivals could advise you on what more you could do to get in?
Yeah, that's a great idea. And yes.
So I just wanted to give you this about this particular ancestor here. When I gaze into the eyes, the word ferocity comes to mind. That part of the archetypal soul, which is the protector. And I'm not sure if you give titles to each of your ancestors, but they're so archetypal that I'm imagining that by titling them and giving a few questions in the caption next to the paintings, it would allow the viewers to look at them more closely and for a longer period of time. So it's like eyeballs on in website design is how long can you engage the person on your website until they press that pay button, right? So having an evocative question right in the caption, it kind of lets the dwell time longer on each painting.
That's a great idea. Thank you.
Good idea. Do you have a question back? Here we go.
Don't really have a question. So what I'm seeing lots of thematic things here, and the possibility of creating what you could call collections. Mm-hmm. I think there's an African American collection. I think there's a multicultural collection, and both of those collections could have some text with them, and that ChatGPT could definitely roll all over that, play with it. It's also a strong women collection. Okay. And this wonderful description you've made of multiculturalism gives a lot of depth to the understanding of what you're doing. And so I think that if obviously, we've got a number of web designers here, but I think some of your pieces could be in several collections. And then the other thing is I really like print on demand. And I think clothing, cards, certainly cards, card collection of these particular things and these particular themes, I think would be very evocative and very, compelling as groups of clothing, as groups of cards, and all that. And then the other thing, this is completely on another angle, and it's what you said about travel. And to me, some of the most fascinating jobs and fascinating things are things that combine completely different things. For example, I'm an intergalactic painter, or I'm a tennis player who wrestles, or I'm just, two completely disparate items. So this idea of you traveling and doing painting, I think you could project yourself as an artist in residence to come somewhere and just see what comes out of you. If we send you to Pisa, if we send you to Florence, if we send you to New York, what happens? And so people could welcome you as just like you yourself are an art installation. They stick you in the community for so long and just see what comes out. This is one way I think you could market that dream of yours to travel. That you come, they give you a place, they set you up, they pay you a certain amount, and then see what happens. And then after that, there's the Florence collection that you did, and there's the Paris collection, and there's the Fairfield, Iowa collection. And so you have these kind of like installations around the world, and that justifies your travel dream. We just have this kind of like, oh my gosh. Used to be that wealthy people would sponsor painters or musicians as if, there's my pet musician, like right there. And they would do beautiful stuff. So in a way, you can market that capability and get your dream and be a traveling, minstrel of art.
Yeah, that absolutely is on my vision board. But I didn't actually think of like marketing it that way. But so I'm also a singer and songwriter. I have an album. And so that's something that I've been kind of trying to figure out how to bring into my art practice. I haven't figured it out yet, but maybe an inspirational spark. So thank you for that.
Well, Jenny, I do hope you integrate that because your ability as a singer is absolutely astonishing to me. One of the things in my primary business, there's a whole cadre of very, very talented younger women coming in from other companies to be part of this. And one of the things that defines the people who are really successful, they're able to document their journey not only visually, but auditorially, in video, in shorts. And so as people connect with them, you've got just what you've shared with us today, what's important to you, connecting that and communicating that on an absolutely regular basis. It's nothing harder than just getting in front of your phone and just saying something for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And posting it up there. A very crude kind of way of thinking about it. You've got a story, and I think people want to know your heart and know your mind, and they need help in interpreting, what they're looking at. You can be kind of a guide. So that just strikes me as something that might attract a larger audience.
Yeah, and I love that. I have been posting things to my TikTok, like little videos, but obviously not consistently. And I think I just get so in my head about it. And I also get wrapped up in my process. It hasn't become a part of my routine. So I've got to really do that intentionally. Yeah.
Couple of quick questions. Is there a seasonality to art shows?
Yeah, so summer, between the warmer months, so May through October, and then indoor shows for the holidays. The challenge is living in Fairfield, honestly, because I have to travel so far to a lot of these things. And doing festivals, especially by myself, is really exhausting, especially in the heat of the summer. So I would prefer to be here working in my studio, and having a storefront, like a place where I could show, if you want to come and look, I have a lot of work, and I have a catalog of, actually, in these two books, I have a catalog of a lot of the work that I've done over the last several years. And so I have so much work. So it would be great to have some kind of storefront where I could have these things. But it is fun to travel and to do shows.
What's your favorite memory, or when I ask you about an experience while you're traveling at one of your displays, could you share with us that moment of self-actualization where this is going to be one of the most memorable moments I've ever had at a gallery?
Oh man. Okay.
Certainly you've had it. Certainly you've had an experience that jumps out, though, right?
Honestly, I think it's just it's not an particular experience. It's more of an emotion. So the feeling that, like, if I have a solo exhibition and people come in to the show, and I like to just experience their experience of it, and that has been the most fulfilling thing. And also, as a jewelry designer in the past, I was really fighting for my life to get sales. Even though I think my jewelry was beautiful, I did do well with it, but it's like a very niche audience, so it's not as broadly appreciated. And with this, the first show that I did, festival that I did, I had so many people coming to my booth and loving my work that it just made me feel like, okay, yeah, I'm on the right path. This is where it's at.
Only in Fairfield can I say this. There's a rise in consciousness, and you're riding one of the waves. You're surfing on one of those waves, which is ancestral lineages and women and the divine feminine. And so there are great social media influencers, authors who are writing on this. And I'm wondering if you would be willing to send them one of your paintings as an introduction to who you are. That might get you into the door of someone who has millions of followers.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know who that would be. I'm sure there are plenty of people that I could do that for, but yeah, it's a great idea.
Other questions? Oh, here we go, Jordy.
Yeah, and I think to Greg's credit, I think it brings up a great point of partnering with influencers because they can really reduce your customer acquisition cost. At the end of the day, anytime you're selling something online, your biggest concern is customer acquisition cost.
Yeah.
Will keep the lifetime value of a customer high. So have you ever thought of also checking out search engine optimization?
Yeah. So keywords, that kind of thing. I do that with ChatGPT. Whenever I list something or whenever I post something, I do that. I don't have a lot of faith in it because there's so much out there.
Well, would you consider hiring a marketing or internet marketing agency to help you?
I would love that if I had the resources to do so. I would love it.
Yeah. Good.
Other questions? Here we go. 1 second.
I think I mentioned this when you moved into the CoLab, seeing the evolution of your work and how it's becoming so, it's just so colorful, and the way you bring together shape and color is really beautiful. And we have a few companies in our manufacturing realm that do produce mosaic style work, like Bovard, or perhaps, what was Creative Edge, or Alto, or, things like that. Maybe perhaps you could license some of your designs for them to use as installations, perhaps. But I really love the stained glass element of what you're doing, and then having gels maybe that could adhere.
Yes, I've been making those.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so I've been making so the house of the client, the big client that I have that I'm working for, I did an installation so the stained glass technique that I'm doing is a type of paint that you put on the glass that looks like stained glass. And I did an installation in their house, and I'm also making these window clings that go in the corners to add little decorative elements to the corners of the windows that I could sell and people could install themselves. Yeah.
I like your creativity. So if you have an audience that is as diverse as this is, what can we help with? What questions do you have, or what feedback would you want from them as you're considering your business and your growth and your journey?
Well, I feel like I've gotten a lot of really great ideas already so far. I don't have a notebook, but I'll watch the recording back and make notes of everything everyone's telling me. I do have a business plan written out that needs a little tweaking, but has kind of a number. If someone wanted to invest in my business, it has a goal and it has like what I would return them. So that's one thing that I'm kind of putting out there. And if anyone wanted to do like an art trade for skills, I'd be totally open to that. Like if someone had marketing skills or anything like that, I'd be
There you go.
down to
I
that.
like the bartering approach,
Yeah.
and that's what entrepreneurs do, right?
Yeah. I recently got a car for my art. Yeah. So, yeah.
I like it. Good. Any other questions? Oh, here we go.
It's not a question. Red Utopia and that co-op, I think, is the way coolest thing. What I'm hearing from Jenny and every other single business person is she's spending 90% of her time building the business and not doing the art. We have all these other single businesses. Could that possibly be a co-op also, where someone helps with the web design, their name is on there, they're spread out over the nation or the world, everybody share in however that aspect needs to be done of lending your expertise and time and then getting a percentage back of sales. That way it puts her back into being the artist as opposed to the business person.
That's good.
Well, to edit what you said, I don't spend 90% of my time on the business side. I spend 90% of my time on the art side, which is why I need help. Yeah.
Good answer.
But you do have so many outlets there that you're having to learn. Well,
Yes,
how do I set up
absolutely.
How do I do AdSense? So
Yeah.
those are things that other people, that's their job. And they're going, whoa, I could have done that in 10 minutes. And
Right.
Right. Well, Jenny, it's been a pleasure to get to know you and see your art not only proliferate this space, but the community as well. And you'll be around after this presentation for other additional questions or answers,
Yeah.
and perhaps maybe barter for some services.
Yeah, and you can come and see my studio. So, whoops. What did I do? Yeah, you can come see my studio, and I'm happy to chat with you. And yes,
Let's give her a warm
Leslie.
Thank you.